Can I speak there?
Mr. Brown?
Good evening, Pro Tem,
Good evening.
Mayor, and residents. What's really interesting, and you hear all the comments, especially if you sit downstairs and all, but we all are residents and we like to feel very proud of our city. And it's just very interesting, and Gil, you kind of stole a lot of my thunder there, but we have a charter that needs to be reviewed. Because as you look at this election, and elections to come and all, we're going to have to spend a lot of money, and we need to review this very closely. And as previous speakers have spoken, I think you need to kind of go in and close their session because a lot of money has been spent in an election and all, and we need a fresh start. Residents are asking for it, I'm asking for it, my kids, my grandkids and all, and there's so many other things that is needed in our city, and while we're debating about who's going to lead us into the 21st century, our city is going to hell in a basket. We need roads on Century Boulevard. I was even at a merchant recently in District 1 that's talking about leaving the city because he talks about our city is not business friendly. There's a lot of things that we need to do, and I'm hoping that out of all of this, that we can come together as a city and that we can feel proud as we step into our quarters, and District 1, 2, and 3, and 4 represents my life and my family, and God bless you, and make a good decision tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Cindy Giardina, Charlotte Bell, and Elliot Petty.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem Council. Cindy Giardina, 37-year resident. It's a very, very interesting evening here tonight. When you enforce the rules, it's not selective. It's not selective. The rule is fixed, and it's there for a reason. We have a city charter. Inglewood's a charter city. So if our charter is flawed, then our charter is flawed. But if the council and the city charter makes the decision, it doesn't exclude you from running. So you see, we've got all these contradictions. But it is a written city charter, and it has to be respected. What we have tonight is an issue of residency. I sit as vice president for the school board. There's never been probably a dirtier campaign in Inglewood than when I ran against the mayor's daughter. Not a dirtier one. The most scurrilous, disgusting remarks made. But that's part of running for office. You just turn into an armadillo and you just develop a thick skin. If we have an issue here of residency and it requires an affidavit, hey, to be honest with you, I think we ought to just ante up the money and pay for it. I'll pay for it. You want to sign an affidavit, whatever it costs, should pay for it. If you're a resident, sign the affidavit and let's get on with this. This is foolishness. This is ridiculous. Inglewood needs to move forward. We have serious problems. This nation has serious problems. We just really need to get past this election, because as soon as we get out of this election, we're in another election. So this is not going to end here tonight. This is not the end of all ends, the tale of all tales. This is a charter city. If you want to run for office, read the requirements, follow them. Hey, when they said to me, I didn't do something right, I went down there, whatever it is, I'm here to do it. Because I want to run, and I want to win, and I want to serve. And I think it's remarkable that everybody that's here should have the servant's heart and want to do the right thing by the residents. No one's going to be disenfranchised, because ultimately God is on the throne, and He's going to have His way. That's what's really happening in here tonight. So let's everybody get ready to know, don't get voter exhaustion. I've been coming to these meetings for many a year, and I haven't seen a lot of people here. Then you have one issue, and all of a sudden everybody just floods in here. This is a full-time job, just like parenting. And we need to come here and have our voices heard, and we need to supervise and monitor what's going on in our city. I had a meeting, an intergovernmental meeting with the school board as the vice president, and the city administrator sat there and said, as he leaned back and ate my food, yeah, I've been here almost 2 years and I've spent $20 million of the reserve. I almost fell over. What was going on in our city?
Thank you very much. Charlotte Bell, Elliot Petty, followed by Dr. Perry.
Good evening,
Good
council
evening.
members. Basically, I think this approach of getting up and attacking the different people at the dais, Ms. Horton, Ms. Brown, she had the right, because she was in the election, to question the residency. You know, if you have a city charter, and I think they're overlooking, I think a lot of people are not aware that the city charter states that you have to make this decision tonight. But as Ms. Cindy said, you're going to get to run again. Now, after you make the decision tonight, I suggest that Mr. Butts take it to court. I've seen this happen in other cities. You know, you was a good policeman when you was here.
Address the council, please. Thank you.
So, you know, I'm not saying he's a bad man, but if the process was not done clearly, or if it was some kind of questions, then basically you have to act off the city charter per your city attorney. Now, if that's not the truth, then he'll tell you you cannot vote. But if he tells you that's a must, you have to enact and vote. Then he can go and do his thing in the courts, and they can overturn your decision.
The board where
Thank you,
there's
Mr.
so
Griffin.
much more.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Griffin.
you all.
Thank you. Okay. I understand the next group is on the first floor, so Cecil Carpio, Sean Cook, Rhonda Crowder, Revlin Williams, Bill Sanders, and Ann LaRose. If you are on the first floor, please make your way up as we speak. Cecil Carpio, welcome.
Thank you. Cecil Carpio, 37-year resident of Inglewood, lived in District 2 all that time. I look forward to hearing a thorough discussion of CC1 regarding our June 8th, 2010 primary election. The public has come before this council, presented cogent and salient points, and I hope this council has taken note of those comments and will address those points, including recusal, investigation of the facts, and upholding our charter. And I also hope you will address the issue of the transfer of Mr. Butt's votes to Mr. Tabor or Ms. Dunlap. Please clarify this point, because I can't believe that that's possible. Perhaps I'm naive and not well read, but I cannot believe that that could happen at all. That so disenfranchises the people who believed in the system of voting. I'm delighted that there has been so much concern and that so many people have turned out tonight to voice how they feel. I know how I would feel if the same thing were happening to my vote. And I guess what this really is about, the one lesson that I've learned, is in the same way that if I ever decide to buy a home, I'll check the zoning, and if there's any easements involved, and so on and so forth. I guess now this has really taught me a lesson that I have to make sure that the candidate that I vote for has all of their qualifications in order. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Is Sean